Let me tell you about my Nick Bollettieri tennis experience. I brought him into the 757 area code, Coastal Virginia, to make an appearance at Cape Henry Racquet Club and a variety of other places. So when we brought him in, this was the day after he just got inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame in Newport, Rhode Island. So it was the next day. So the night before, he had 105 guests there. You know, the Celis, the Agassi, the who's who of tennis. I mean, after all, Nick's coached 10 number one players, plus a lot more. So anyway, flies into the Norfolk airport. My son Clark and I pick him up. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We have him staying at a beautiful beach house right on the ocean, a 3-bedroom place just for him. So anyway, we pick him up at 3 o'clock. And while we're driving there, it's about a 20-minute drive, he says, "Hey, Darryl, how about if we let's watch the World Cup?" And I think it was Argentina against Germany. So, Darryl, let's watch the World Cup. What do you think about that? And I said, "Nick, that sounds great. The house has TV, so why not?" He goes, No. I'm thinking more like a sports bar or, something like that with some big TVs." So anyway, I take him to a large club that we have here in the area in Virginia Beach. And but I said, "Nick, they're hosting the girls' 16s. I mean, there's like 200 players there." So Nick says, "Hey, that sounds like there's some action." Anyway, we drive him there, Clark and I. We get out of the car. Man, it's like Elvis arrived. These women, they're clapping because he just got in the Hall of Fame. They're taking pictures and selfies and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, by the time we got up to our table, I bet you he took like 30 or 40 selfies, a couple of autographs, stuff like that. So we get up to the table to order our food. Owner of the club comes and hangs out around with us, and so we watch the game. And a couple of people come up, and more autographs, more selfies, stuff like that. So I feel like it's like 7 o'clock, and now we're going to leave. We walk around the grounds with the girls' 16s going on, the National Clay Courts. A couple of people double fault, make some unforced errors because Nick's walking by, and they kind of lay an egg. So anyway, eventually we leave. So we're driving back to the house on the ocean. Now it's like 15 minutes away. So Nick says, "Hey, how about if we let's get some wings, and let's get some pizza, and let's get 2 war movies to watch tonight." Of course, I'm thinking, isn't one enough? Well, anyway, by the time we get to the wings and all that kind of stuff, and we get the movies, we get back to this cottage that we have on the ocean, and we get settled. The first movie is getting ready to go in like at 9 o'clock. So I'm trying to explain to Nick, which is very difficult to explain anything to him. So I said, "Nick, this house is for you. And so this is for you to stay." And, I live with my wife around, down the road. And at this time, we had picked up my other son, Connor. So it was Nick, Clark, Connor, and myself. And we're sitting there. And Nick says, "Hey, get your wife on the phone." So I did. So we get Beth on the phone, my wife. And Nick says some very nice things to her. He says, "Hey, Beth, I really enjoy this house. It's very nice and so forth. And it's wonderful. I really appreciate you doing this for me. But, hey, your boys aren't coming home tonight. We got some movies to watch." So anyway, I'm kind of in event mode. I got all these events lined up for Nick over the next 3 or 4 days. So anyway, we watched the first movie. Starts a little bit after 9 o'clock. And then we put in the second movie. Now, the second movie was it was Japanese war movie with English subtitles. Well, anyway, the thing doesn't finish until like 1 a.m. So at 1 a.m., Nick looks at me and says, "All right, what do we got for tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, 8 o'clock photo shoot, 9 o'clock a motivational speaking engagement for you at this local business. We got a couple of VIP lessons, book signings, another VIP lesson, and then dinner with so-and-so." And Nick goes, "Man, that sounds wonderful." Because, see, like Nick, he likes working half days, but a half day to him is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then he works some more. So anyway, at that time I wasn't necessarily prepared to stay the night and so forth. But anyway, Nick gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, starts doing all these stretchy band exercises and so forth. So the next day, which was Monday, we go the whole day doing book signings and all those things I previously mentioned. And so when we were done, and then we had dinner, he says, hey, let's get 2 movies for tonight, but let's get 2 dramas. Sure enough, we're at Redbox getting 2 dramas. And that was Monday night. Tuesday night, we did the exact same thing. 2 more movies, all day activity. And then Wednesday, thank God he left. I mean, I put him on the plane like at 3 o'clock. And I remember that going, my goodness, I mean, this guy's 80-some years old, has endless energy, and he just goes and goes and goes. And always active. So sometimes he's on the phone talking to tennis people or other celebrity kind of athletes. But that whole experience, he just wore me out, and I ended up having to take a nap for about, on that Wednesday afternoon from 3 o'clock to whenever. And then he calls me the next day telling me everything that he's done. Well, I was on the radio show and I did 5 hours of lessons and all this kind of stuff. So I told him, I said, Nick, I did something that you can't do, something you're not in a position to do. And he says, what's that? I said, Nick, I'm here cleaning up the mess and when Elvis leaves the building, baby. So anyway, that was my Nick Bollettieri tennis experience. About wore me out, but it was a heck of an experience, baby.